Well, well. Look where we ended up. Another little thingy place with the stream and stuff. What is that? Get that out of here. Okay, that's a little wild. Hello, folks. How you doing? Welcome in. Good to see you. I'm sweaty. I'm shiny. It's another day. Tomato. Hi. Hi, hi, hi. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Welcome in. Howdy doody. I think that's my niece in the background. Welcome, folks. Happy new week to you. It's the last week of June. And we are coming up on our six-month mark of the year. Oh my gosh. Isn't that kind of crazy? Isn't that a little bit nuts? Slightly kind of, sort of? Far too nuts, to be honest. But happy to be here. It's summertime. Well, unless you're in the other half of the world, then it's wintertime. And I hope it's a good wintertime at that. Y'all having a good time? Hey, Shifty's back in chat. I thought we scared you away with the music, dude. You bigger fan of the Deus Ex startup, I assume. I do like the Deus Ex music. It's hard to dance to, though. And we like to dance. Welcome, Twitch. Good to see you. YouTube, welcome in. Hello, hello. We're getting started off slow and sloppy today. JK, I'm not calling you guys sloppy. But we are getting started off slow. I see filtering in. It's taking a little longer. We're just doing a little AMA, little chillin' chat, a Monday kickback kind of thing. We do this every once in a while. I like to do the Q's and A's because there's always new people coming into these streams. There's always people who are like coming back from a while. Maybe you just happen to click in on the stream and it popped up for the first time in a long time. And you show up here and we're just kind of talking a bunch of nonsense on these long tangents, long tangents about different topics, and you just get lost. So I like to, every once in a while, have a little chill stream on a Monday where we can just sit back and like you guys can throw whatever questions you've got about this game. I will pull up my archives of all the ISCs. We'll dive back into the old YouTube stuff. We'll check out some of the more recent stuff they've released. But honestly, I am here to try and help you out. This was inspired by a couple of recent comments I've been getting. Actually, one of the comments I got was not recent. I just happened to come across it because I was researching one of my older videos. Always a joy to research older videos because just like in this instance, I came across comments that I didn't see because like the way that YouTube presents comments to you, sometimes you miss them after the video's been old for a while. And somebody was asking why, you know, they asked a question and somebody else responded by saying that, actually, no, I'm thinking of the wrong comment. The comment I'm thinking of was somebody who was saying, there has been no progress on this game. Like, there's nothing going on with the game. And I figured, first of all, I want to have a greenhouse podcast about that. I want to try, and I'm going to probably put an announcement out on the YouTube channel community tab. This is Tomato had the great idea to put out a little announcement and ask all the people who are like particularly angry about the progress we've been having to come on the show and explain why. I'm not going to use it as a time for me to clap back at things that people have complaints about. I'll clarify things and ask other questions about things. But honestly, I think it's worth hearing more from people who are frustrated because I get these comments and I'm like, extrapolate. Go a little deeper with that. Tell me why. And I think also there are some really good complaints hidden in there, you know? People will put what they think they should say in a comment, but there's like a whole few paragraphs of unread criticism that might have some good nuggets, you know, something that could galvanize somebody else to come up with a topic or their own video, or you know, even me make my own video. I got things to say. All right, I know people think that I have nothing negative to say about Star Citizen, but oh, you wait. Ugh, what is that? Generally, it happens on stream. But anyways, yeah. So today, I just want to answer some questions and hang out with y'all and chat for a few hours and kick back. I was going to start with the lore questions that they answered last week, which had actually some interesting stuff relating to upcoming gameplay. But let me say my hellos first. I see questions already coming in. Crouton and Shifty, Chaos, Vassin and C McD, all the first and notification gang. Welcome, Toes Gang. James Pruitt, good to see you, Bean Daddy. Bean Daddy at work.
Thank you.
Isno, gifting out 5 memberships to get us started off for the day. Appreciate you. Did you get that beer? I liked the stream. I hope you grabbed one for yourself. I've got some nice fresh cold water. About to f me up. Hydro homies for life. Cheers. I hope you guys are drinking something good today.
Thank you.
By the way, welcome in, Isno. Always a pleasure. Drazen dropping the redhead tomat, Texas tomat. How you doing, dude?
Thank you very much.
How are you this week? We got things to talk about, man. Reese, Toes Gang. What's up, dude? Reese holding it down, Drazen holding it down.
Thank you
See
very
if
much.
Echo's in here holding it down. Mrs. Tomato holding it down, of course. VR Guy Racing. Good day, VR. How you doing? You're wearing socks and there's nothing you can do about it. Isn't it a little warm for socks? Like, I'm trying to get my socks onto more people's toes. But I understand the toes are warm in June. Even warmer in July. What's a July sock? Basically just like a little ankle bracelet of cotton. You don't want to cover your feet. Not in July. Let those pretty toes shine. God, that sounds bad. I promise I don't have a toe thing. All right, that wasn't me. I didn't start that. What's up, Adam? Welcome. 40 acres and a mule. Hyperactive, Coder B, Panzer. Porosimus. Warblade. How y'all doing this lovely Monday? Hyperactive. You haven't slept in 2 days? You're cooked and drinking your 4th cup of coffee. Seems like coffee would be the wrong thing to do if you haven't slept. Are you trying to... Is this the record? Is this the thing? You streamathoning? What is it? Shifty, you were in the coffee spot. For coffee number 12. How many more people are on more than 3 cups of coffee right now? Why is there so much coffee in chat? Haven't we been over this? Haven't we talked about this garden? Folks, where the heck is my serious talking button? I need to get a serious talking camera angle that zooms in on my face so I can tell you the proper knowledge. Coffee is not your friend. Hot chocolate is your friend. Please, I'm trying to help you. This is knowledge. When they said that they couldn't... What was that thing? What was that box that you can't open because it just screws up the whole world? Pandora's box. Yeah. Inside of there is the knowledge that hot chocolate will make life good. Don't open the box, just trust me. Forget the coffee. You don't need it. Just need goodness in your life, not caffeine. Sheesh. Circuit Guy asked, Titan suits, where are they in lore? What are they in lore? Who uses them? Are they in Squadron 42? Oh yeah, that's definitely an Astro Historian question. I actually don't know really anything about the Titan suits because they're so Squadron 42 focused. I'm more of a Star Citizen whore. Like, legitimately, if you ask me questions about Squadron, I am learning as we go. So, Titan suits, I have no idea if those are even going to come to Star Citizen. I imagine that's going to be a balancing nightmare. But they'll probably be viewed as like a vehicle or something, like a size 0 ground vehicle maybe. But yeah, they're made by Virgil. They were made as a way to kind of get back at the Vanduul after Virgil was lost. I don't really know much more about it than that. But yeah, Paul just put out a great video on that. Astro Historian YouTube channel. Check that out. As a person who just started playing, looking at the development speed recently, the progress is really good for a game, obviously not considering the 8 years before. The 8 years before. I've got, man, Spatio, you know what the thing that kind of gets to me about when people talk about this game is they assume that the people who have backed this game and who are still pumped for it and positive about it aren't pissed off that it's taken so long. Like, you know how the pandemic happened and when it was happening, everybody was like, oh, shucks, golly gee willikers, this is just a tootin' bummer, huh? Like, nobody could go anywhere. Everybody was disappointed. It wasn't like we were still... It sucked in the moment, and it sucks looking back on it, but it's still the reality. It still happened. You can be angry about it and still accept that it happened and continue, right? Like the time it took for Star Citizen to be built is annoying. I'm pretty sure every single person, even at CIG, would be like, hey, it's annoying that it took this long. Because it is. Because we all want to play the game now. But like the fact of the matter is that they had to build a whole engine. And there was mismanagement. And mistakes were made. And I'm happy to acknowledge that. Because it's just the way it is. Man, I was a naive child back then. I don't know what a game development looks like. I don't know what it should take to make a game. When it was 2017 and I was saying, I can't wait to play Star Citizen in 3 years, I didn't know it wasn't going to be there in 3 years. And that's hindsight. I get that now. And I have definitely started to change my outlook on how things might look in the future based on that. But that doesn't mean you can't still be excited about, things actually making progress now. The whole comment of, oh, we've gotten here in 10 years, it's going to take 10 more years is kind of like it digs into that. Because everything was so crappy back then doesn't mean it's crappy in the future. And I think it would be a lot worse if they weren't showing signs of having improved from what they were doing back then. There are still signs of things being a little weird. Definitely. And new problems coming up here and there, but I think that the time of the development is not the thing that people should be focusing on at this point. It really comes down more to the efficiency of that time and what's being done in that time. And anybody who's been following this project for more than a couple of years, I would say since 2022, you can tell that things are actually moving faster now. That's kind of how people out themselves as being newer to the project when they say that we're not really making progress. It's like, yeah, compared to a normal situation, you could say we're not making much progress, but if you compare this to what Star Citizen was before, there's that caveat. As someone who took a break, there have been substantial updates, especially with Squadron 42 ending. Development speed will increase, and we hope. We certainly hope. Luna Maria, good to see you. Welcome into chat. Is that Dora you hear? She's back there. She got home from school. School's over. She was just in there for the day. What's up, Daplin Layman? Panzer. So much foundation work being done. It honestly, the awkwardness of saying that does not escape me. That's another thing I think people don't get looking from the outside in. They think that when we say things like, oh yeah, they're getting the base, they're getting the foundation set. Yeah, I don't like saying that 10 years into the project, but that's how it is. Like, server meshing is the base of the game. Everything else they've been building it feeds into the system that depends on all this stuff. So, again, it's disappointing as heck. It sucks. And there are definitely issues with the fact that it took this long to get there, but it's okay to say that and still be disappointed. Or rather, it's okay to say you like the game and acknowledge that. Rascal, been here since Kickstarter, and you're sad that specific ships have been largely abandoned. What do you mean? The Gladiator gets all updates every patch. There's nothing. No ships are lagging behind in the system. Yeah, it's not great to see the ships falling behind like that. And I'm really hoping that once we hit this sort of period of maelstrom and engineering, like the bigger systems coming into ships, I'm hoping every ship starts to get an update with those systems, and we see everything get brought up to standards, because some of those ships are really old. Question: what do you think when we'll be in the game? Damaging, tearing, dirtiness, armor, undersuits, dresses, etc. Wear and tear on armor? We already have some level of wear and tear, right? Like, we have the, like the environment gets on your armor. But in terms of wear and tear and damage, probably, I don't know if the Maelstrom system would be the case. But I think they'll probably do a pretty big update to armor overall, because they need to add power into armor. Life support system needs to be in armor. Basically, the whole resource management system is supposed to be kind of compacted into your armor. So once they're getting around to setting that stuff up, I think we would start to see more of that wear and tear and the dynamicism of armor itself. CIG has mentioned building interiors only once as far as you know, CMcD. When do you think we might see them? 4.x, 1.0, 1.x, or later? I'm thinking 4.x. Building interiors are important if you consider that they want every planet to have enough gameplay for people to spend a lot of time at that planet. You know, that's why quantum travel takes a while. That's why the distances are so large. It's why there are so many different star systems. They don't actually want you to have to go between every planet 4 or 5 times a day. And if they want to reach that goal, RCorp in particular needs to have more gameplay areas, like the outposts on all the other planets. So they've got their situation figured out for Orison, right? They've got floating platforms across the planet where they can put in the content. They've got the outposts on Microtech and Hurston, but in RCorp, they need building interiors in order to make more gameplay over there. So I think that's a pretty big requirement for them, something they're targeting for the 4.x branch. I'm hoping they start talking about it again this half. Missed the tech preview because your computer died. Now you're up and running. Hope there are some more tests this week. Hopefully they do regular meshing tests so we can feel more positive about it, even though it doesn't technically tell us anything besides what we see in the tests. Jowl, how you doing? Good to see you. Daylight Fire, happy Monday to you. James, you've gone through a monster and 2 Pepsis. Good, good. At least it's Pepsi and not Coke. Tea is your best friend. Oh, we are a tea family. Believe that. We had some green tea this morning. It was nice. Echo's not echoing. It's tea. Hey, okay, Mrs. T. You are Mrs. T, but you gotta admit, hot chocolate's pretty ballin'. Remember that hot chocolate I had in Bruges? I think it was the melting one. Ooh, ooh, ooh. We're my hot chocolate lovers. You drink anything besides coffee? Flopalore asks, do you have any guesses for unconfirmed features in Squadron 42 that may come to the PU after Squadron is released? Not really. I think the most obscure thing that I figured was going to come to the PU from Squadron was boats, but then they showed that at CitizenCon last year. And like, boats was always... think... No, you're not coming in. Just a little testing of the door. The boats were like my biggest, oh, this is feature creep kind of thing. And and then they showed them on the videos and I was like, okay, well, yeah, there's nothing I really think that they are not showing us. I think Star Citizen will have more features than Squadron because they need to. Maybe we'll get like the military multi-tool, but that's not unannounced. Maybe some other military-focused weaponry or tools, gadgets. But I think that stuff would probably end up in the PU, at least at the same time. Then again, who freaking knows? Didn't Starfield take just as long? There's a lot of caveats to mention when it comes to game development cycles. Starfield took, I think, 9 years. I believe they'd started development in 2014. Thing is, comparing it 1-to-1, you know, you're looking at a company that was working on a bunch of other games at the same time and had an established engine and like, you know, there's so many things to mention that it's not even worth comparing games in terms of the cycle or the time it took to build them. Because you never know what the man hours are. Production wasn't on hold due to a lawsuit, but it certainly was distracting. Time it took for CIG to get their things together and grow from a small dev team to an actual game studio were some of the most frustrating years. Yeah, up until like 2018, 2019, things were pretty annoyingly slow. And then even up until like 2023, it was still like waiting for things to happen. It's not built, it's still shallow. Remember they having backing campaigns to promise 100 systems? That's gone. 100 systems is gone. Get that out of your head. Wipe it out. It's completely and utterly f***ed. It's not happening. 100 systems in this game will likely never happen. At least the 100 systems they originally planned. By the time we would ever see 100 systems, we'd be a decade past. Systems was planned when this game was supposed to be like what Star Wars Outlaws is about to be. It's just entirely different. They cannot do it with the amount of content they're putting on each planet now. That was before we had planets. It was back when a planet was basically just a city you'd land at. And, you know, it's, they're going for something different now. What is normal for a game that lets players play a dev build? There's no yardstick for what CIG is doing to compare with. Early access games, kind of. But this game is like at least maybe it now feels kind of like an early access kind of game. But for years we were playing a game that wasn't even up to that standard. So it is hard to compare it to. I don't know. I'm kind of over quantifying the time it's taken. There are so many more interesting conversations to have now. Star Citizen and Tarkov are two of your favorite games, though, and they both came from that period. Yeah, Tarkov. How is Tarkov doing? Had some rough times in the last year, huh? Do I think the release of cargo hangars will go well? Define well. I think the release of cargo hangars will go like most features. I think it'll be pretty fun. Very interesting, super novel, slightly glitchy, not fully functioning like we would expect, and ultimately becoming both not really a topic for conversation and also, for some people, not a worthwhile feature that meant anything after about a quarter. So what I'm starting to realize, that as things get added to this game, once they're added, for a lot of people, just don't even matter. It's not a concern. Crazy how many people must live on R-Corp compared to everywhere else. Certainly a lot of factories. R-Corp's going to need some work. They're going to need some help. There's supposed to be, let's see, I think I have a picture here of R-Corp kind of more as it's meant to look. There's supposed to be some foliage and like wildlife, not wildlife, but like trees and grass and water on R-Corp. Where is, yeah, you can kind of see here. So like you definitely got green spaces planned for the R-Corp area. And this is just small scale. Obviously you need more and more for like weather and feeding and stuff like that. So they've got work to do on that planet. I think they also need to work a little bit more on the scale. This gives such a better sense of scale to this planet than what we have. They need some large structures like this. So let's hope that whenever they do get around to reworking R-Corp, because it's the next in line after Lorville, we see some more of the stuff that looks kind of like this concept art. Do I think the older backers will enjoy the game 1.0 and beyond? Don't think anyone outside CIG knows what a finished product will be like, and my fear is that leaves room for dreams. Hopefully with this 1.0 progress tracker update they're about to drop to us, that will give us a little bit more of a sense of what the finished game looks like. I think that for a lot of people, following this game's development is more interesting than playing the game is going to be after it launches. That's just the way some people are. Honestly, that might be the way I am. I'm really looking forward to this game, but at the same time, I love just watching it be built. That was why I started doing YouTube. And it's like, is why a lot of my content is more about following the development than playing the game. So as the game gets closer and closer to coming up, we'll see. We'll see how people like to play it versus like to talk about it. And I think there will be plenty of people, both old and new, that find the game is not what they want to play. You hear a lot of people calling SE a tech demo. You're new to the game, maybe 30 to 40 hours in, and it feels a lot like a game to you. You're already seeing a lot of copy and paste contracts, though. Is that what people mean when they say that? Is it low on content when you really get into it? Doug, it is incredibly low on content. What people mean when they say it's a tech demo is more the sense that you have all these different systems, whether it's mining or FPS, whether it's flying spaceships or getting blown up. All of these things happen in the game and they exist in the game together, but they kind of don't connect that much. So like, if you're doing mining, you might not want to be the person who also hauls that mining stuff. But there's really no way that they tell players they can not do that, right? If you know the game, then you can tell your friend, hey, come over here and let me transfer my stuff over to your ship and you can sell it and then get that money back to me. But if you just wanted to play this game, like as a solo player, and you wanted to be like, okay, I want to ship this stuff to a station to be sold while I still mine, there's no way to do that. And the same can go for maybe you want to get, maybe you want to like, gosh, now I'm drawing a blank. It's just, there are a lot of small examples like that. In this game, when you want to do things that you would expect the game to allow you to do, you realize that there are walls and boundaries and things that just haven't been built into the game that pick up the small details. That's not possible. Let me switch my example to salvage because I haven't done mining in a while. Let's say you're salvaging and you want people to go and sell your salvaged stuff. You might know that's possible, but the game doesn't do a good job of both telling you that or working it into missions or the game itself. The same thing can go for, you know, when you're just starting out as a player. Once you get up to the space station in orbit, you're basically on your own, and you don't get like a game's backing to tell you what to do. You have your contract manager, sure, but like there's no story, there's no narrative, there's nobody talking to you, there's nobody explaining anything. It just still feels like a whole bunch of systems that have been set up to work, but they're not wrapped in a nice packaging, you know? That's kind of where it comes from. There's of course also the fact that there's just not many missions, and that's a big problem with the game. But that's less what people are talking about when they say that, I think, at least. Given this game is so large and covers so much, is there any talk of any more professions being introduced? Hold on a second. Sorry about that. How do you ping and reply to people on this app? Click on their name, I think. What's up, Abdi? Hey, my dude, how you doing today? Good to see you, brother. If every system is supposed to be detailed the way they are right now, I don't think we'd get 100, unless they start churning out and dropping 5 Baron systems every couple months. They won't be like they are now. Oh, now see, you guys have gotten me into my favorite segue, my favorite tangent, the Arc Star map. And you know what? We're going to get the calming Arc Star map music going on in here too. Let's turn this down. Give it to me. Okay. We always end up here somehow. The current game takes place in the Stanton system. Yeah, ta-da! Stanton system is a ridiculously nice system. You got 3 mega Earths and a breathable air gas giant. All in the green band. You can see here, like in the star map, they actually show you the green band where life is possible, and then the outer shell of the system. So Stanton's actually a pretty small system in that it only has these 4 planets, and it's bound to, I think, about 4 AU, 5 AU. And all the planets sit inside here. But if you go to, I mean, let's say Pyro, right? The second system. You really have only got 3 planets in that area on this one out of, I want to say 5 planets in the whole system. And most of the stellar bodies are here around Pyro 5, because you've got Pyro 4, Pyro 5, and then also Pyro 6 out here. So you got 3 planets out here with a bunch of moons. Most of the stuff's in there. So that's still relatively easy system to get to. But then Let's say, gosh, I don't know. Just pick one at random. Tohill. Go into this system. We've got a Tohill 1, obviously too close to the star for anything to really be done. Tohill 2, not in the green zone. Tohill 3 is in the green zone. And then Tohill 4 is way out here in an asteroid belt. So here, you're probably only going to have to really do big stuff in Tohill 3. And if you just keep going throughout all the different star systems, you'll start to see that, and they can always change the lore to kind of make this better, but you'll start to see that there aren't that many systems that have a bunch of planets in the green zone that would have vegetation or a lot of outposts or cities or landing zones. Maybe some outposts and stuff like we see on Pyro, but nothing is really built up quite like it is in the Stanton system. That's why they started with Stanton. Anytime you ever ask any of the devs, why'd you guys go with this system in particular? It's because they have a star system that has both high-tech planets, utilitarian planets, and gas giants. So they were able to work on building design and cities on ArcCorp. They were able to work on just general planetry in Hurston, gas tech for Crusader, and then a little bit of a different kind of setup for Microtech. And then they also have 12 moons. So you just kind of get a whole bunch of everything here with a bunch of companies, a whole bunch of people and factions, and it's just a great first one to start with, a great testing focus. And from there, you can then start to reuse assets, mix and match kits, benefit from the different architectural styles that you've been building out for Stanton, Pyro, and Nyx, and start to spread them out to these systems that don't require as much work. That's not to say that they're just going to start popping them off, but it is kind of part of why not every system is going to take what Stanton takes. The really interesting question is how much of the 7 million they've already burnt and where the hell that money went. That question is easily answered because they release that information publicly every single year. It's no secret. You can come on here and you can look through all of the various graphs, the listings where they say all of the dollars went. You can see what went to publishing, what went to general admin, salaries for people, other game dev costs. Obviously, that's a little ambiguous. But it tells you all of this breakdown versus basically the US versus the UK, German, and Canadian offices for every single year that they've ever been in development. On top of that, there's also a third-party auditor from the UK that looks over their banking stuff and makes comments and talks about that. So you can look all that stuff up. They have indeed burned through most of the 700 million. They are not just bank piling. People seem to think that they get 700 million and they're sitting on it. They use about 100 million every year, and they make just a little bit more than that. What is the best bobblehead figurine you can buy in-game for your cockpit dashboard? John, I don't know that one. You can ask me anything, but I can't say I'm going to answer anything. Lamau Tarkov, thank you for the love, brother. Good to see you in chat. Hope you're enjoying the stream. You're just going to look forward to falling in the hangar hole as you forget to call a vehicle and forget that it's there. We've all got to go through it. As a long time back, you're more excited now than you were back then. Same. You're in a meh state again, which tends to happen for you several times a year between giddy hype. Overall pleased by the renewed momentum, but look forward to what's next. We are currently at a quiet time for the year. So I'm thinking things will speed back up. It really depends on what happens over the next month, but maybe hype starts to build again if they actually do manage to get 4.0 into any sort of testing by September. Or maybe we sit in a similar pattern as last year until CitizenCon. Imagine how much money the game will raise when it releases 1.0. Julian, you know how many people believe that they won't release 1.0 because they think this game will make more money? And I'm like, what are you talking about? A lot of people that I talk to say, And even like the comment that I said that kind of inspired this. The person said, there's no content, there's no progress, so I'm not even spending a dime. And that implies that when there is progress, when things are good, they are willing to spend more money, and I don't think that's rare. I think a lot of people feel that way. Just out of not necessarily wanting new ships, but out of feeling good about the game, feeling like the game has a future, feeling like it's heading somewhere. People will spend more money when things are feeling a little bit better. And the idea that people think folks would spend more money if the game wasn't progressing forward, as opposed to if they released it and said, all right, y'all free to go. Man, the amount of money that full released games make is staggering. Referring to the funds going to expenses. There isn't much progress either, which is a big reason people say it still isn't a game. But there isn't much progress compared to what? I would say there's not much progress in the making it feel like a game category, besides 323. Just ignoring 323. I will say there hasn't been much progress in terms of making this feel like a game. Progression, reputation, group interactions, support for us to be able to actually, link up with groups and stuff. Narrative, all that kind of stuff, definitely not much progression. But the actual idea of Star Citizen as a game, the progression we've seen in the last 2 years is night and day compared to what we used to have. From the way that they've iterated on gameplay segments, to adding new gameplay segments, to balancing things when they're actually broken. I mean, they don't do that all the time, but like, if you were here in 2019, just nothing would happen. It's hard to describe how much less the game responded to us at that time. We couldn't even send money to each other. You couldn't even buy spaceships in the game. So
thank you.
In some ways, it definitely doesn't feel like there's much progression. But at least as far as the game making itself a game, with server meshing, persistent entity streaming, replication layer, reputation, those kinds of things, I'm glad where it is. Sig, thank you for the 10 members on YouTube.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Also, are you a truck? Appreciate you. Love a good truck.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Crusader is not a mega Earth, it's a gas giant. The other three don't qualify as mega Earths. I'm just repeating what was in the lore. They said three super Earths and a breathable gas giant. Don't think the star map is accurate about what is coming in the future, especially in terms of numbers of moons. Well, the moons in Pyro are confirmed. It might not be accurate, but so far every system that's come in has had the things that were in the star map. So going off of it right now, they can definitely retcon stuff, but I think they're trying to at least stick pretty closely to what they have here. Sick Maniko, good morning to you. And YouTube, please stop.
Thank you very much.
Why do you do this, YouTube? Why can't you just do one and then cut it out? You reckon the only way they spent all that cash is if their process is insanely inefficient, which, considering how long all of what we got at this point took them to build, seems even more likely. Well, I mean, honestly, I've never run a company with more than 1,000 people, so I'm not going to make that call. But the financials are there for you to look through. It'd take 20 years if they were dropping 5 systems a year. That's why you don't think it'll happen. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yui, hello. Just finished watching the video about the starter ships, but that's 2 years old. I need to do a new video about starter ships. We've got some good additions. Not to belittle their efforts, but that really doesn't mean anything. The only tech they invented is their celestial body stuff. I don't care if they invented tech or not. It's about consolidating tech into your own game engine. If if I don't know, if the Snowdrop engine showed me that it was able to do seamless transitions between servers, what would be the point of looking at that and saying, yeah, but you didn't invent it? Like, it's good to progress an engine forward. That's what I'm looking forward to, you know? They don't need to invent stuff. They just got to get the good stuff working together. Missed the starting. It just says G. I don't know what the rest of that name says. They just cut your name off. Thank you so much for the super chat, though. I appreciate you. Now that we're halfway through 2024, given what we've already received, but also the delays, how are you feeling about their overall progress and rate of development? We actually had a good stream about that, I think, last Monday. I'm feeling good, and I want to qualify that because I know people would assume I'm feeling good because I'm generally just enthusiastic about the game. I like space stuff. What can I say? I'm feeling good because usually CIG, sorry to say it, but CIG sucks at delivering features from CitizenCon. They'll kind of get them in, but generally it takes somewhere of 1 to 2 years for us to start seeing a majority of the stuff that comes from their demos. And that really is talking about the last 4 years. Before that, it was scattershot all over the place. Now, though, we've already seen half of what they showed us. And I'm not the only one saying that. I will go, my friend, Greg, I need to get back with, he asked me a question about this. Greg, if you're watching, I got you, man. I'll get back to you on that. Where is this freaking website? Here we go. So this is not my website. This is just somebody else has done the research, compiled the list, and gotten together the features that they talked about at CitizenCon. And what they have right now is about half of the features are in game. Now, they're not the biggest features. They're not engineering. It's not Maelstrom or the cargo or the freight elevator stuff, but this is so much better than they normally do. Being able to actually get all of the FPS and UI fixes into the game is one of the things people would say, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. And it's in the game, and it's a better track record in my opinion. I also think that getting the new locations in and actually having some decent gameplay in them was pretty good. That being said, the cargo updates are not great. I did expect to see a couple more things in the game by this point this year than what we've seen so far. So they're doing better than my low expectations for them, but they're not quite meeting, you know, my more optimistic expectations, I guess you could say. And I think really it's all going to come down to what happens before CitizenCon, how this year goes. They could always drop something big at the end of the year and make up for it quite a bit, but what was that site called? I already closed it. Hold on, I'll grab it for you. I'll just drop the link in chat for you if you'd like to go to that site and look for yourself. Musk didn't invent rockets, but he sure as hell reinvented how they are used. Did not invent rockets. You're right about, we were doing those for a good while. Alex PK, good to see you. Cathhart and Spider will be dope if that location ever happens. Spider will be insane. I can't imagine what they're going to need to do to render Spider. Are these planets procedurally generated? They are. To an extent. They have a system where they procedurally generate. They actually, a big part of their engine was building out the tool that they use to build these planets. It's a very impressive tool, and they do a great job with it. Still got some problems. They're still working on it, but it procedurally generates most of the planet, and then it allows them to go in and handcraft a lot of other parts of it. One of the coolest things that they've done, in my opinion, with this is we've gotten to watch the development of their river tool go from just kind of putting in a little path, dropping a little path like this on a hill, and basically telling water, okay, just go over this path and that'll be the river, to, I'm hoping it's this one. Don't know if it's this one or not. No, it's not this one. To having a tool that actually looks at the planet you're making, allows you to pick how many rivers are going to be on that planet, and then procedurally places those rivers in different places where they make sense. The way that they've done that and then been able to show us do that process is part of why I like following the game so much. Came from the Xenothreat ambush. For a pure lucky desync, you get inside, kill almost everyone, and for another desync near the captain, get kicked out. All this in flawless 15 frames. That's pretty good. Well done. You're considering starting with SC, but you're not sure which starter to go for, hence you finding the video about them. I got you. Got any recommendations that are up to date? I will always say go with the $45 package. If you want to do something a little bit more, I'd get a Cutter starter pack. That is not as expensive as the Avenger Titan, but still kind of gives you the same experience. You can carry some cargo around. I think you can fit a Nova in the back of that. Somebody confirm that, please, in the chat. And you'll be able to carry your loot and all that kind of good stuff. You can sleep in it, and it's relatively small, cheap, not hard to respawn. If only we'd stop falling through things. Really think we will see a ton of systems, but there's already so much real estate in the game. 5 systems will feel insanely big. Yeah, and I'm honestly just looking for the different vibes. I don't even need a bunch of planets. I just want some different music from Pedro. Maybe a different skybox, a couple different factions. Let me sell some drugs here I can't sell somewhere else, you know? Mix it up. CIG stated at CitizenCon that engineering would come to AC, which it did, not that it would come to live. Did they didn't, they said it wouldn't come to live? Spider is a gigantic conglomerate of spaceships tied up and attached together, floating in space in a system where it's a pirate kingdom. It is a pirate kingdom made up of a bunch of different spaceships all attached together. It's super hardcore to the point where sometimes they will have specific signals they send out, and if you don't answer the right signal back to them when they do, they will just blow you up. It is a den, a hive of villainy. It is the center of criminal enterprise, I believe, in the UEE. And it's an insane idea. A little flotilla. Man-made structure built from half-finished habitable platforms and countless ship hulls. As a center of pirate activity, various gangs use it as their base of operations and frequently fight for control of certain sectors. Spider is also home to an extensive black market and every form of illegal activity imaginable. So this could be the playground for people who aren't very lawful. You know, you come here, it's defend yourself, everybody for themselves, but you got tons of missions in here. You can help different factions get different areas and stuff like that. All of this is speculation and imaginary, but this is a location they have planned for the game. It's in the Cathcart system, which is not a place that I've gone to very much. Where is Cathcart? Geon space. This is Vandul space. Banu space. Cathcart. Here we go. Unclaimed system. Looks like it connects to Killian, which is a massive system connecting to Ellis. But that's probably the closest path we have through Killian, Ellis, Magnus, Stanton. So Cathcart's pretty far away, but that's where the spider would be. And again, as you can see, this is another system that, like, there are no planets here. It's just the space station. So it's kind of like the Nyx system. Nyx has a couple planets, but just one big thing. After supporting for 10 plus years, CIG are delivering stuff a lot better now than when they used to, apart from the Banu Merchantmen. What do I think of the Banu Merchantmen delay? I'm not a huge Banu Merchantmen fan, so it doesn't bother me too much personally, but I do think it's rather bothersome how much it was clearly marketed before getting, you know, put on the back burner. Granted, that it wasn't their decision. Those people got scalped, or not scalped, poached. The guy who was basically the brainchild behind getting the Merchantmen built, at least from what I've heard, he was hired by somewhere else. He went and started working for Ubisoft, and that team just kind of they didn't keep up with the ship. So now they're getting people basically back up to speed to work on ships like that again. The Banu style is very different from all the other spaceships in the game, so you can't just come in and start working on it. They need people to work on other Banu pieces, or at least understand the Banu ships that are already in the game before they work on this giant capital ship that represents the whole race. So I'm bummed out by the fact that it's delayed, but to be quite honest, I think it would have been absolutely terrible if they put it into the game now, because the gameplay for it is so far gone that they will definitely need to rework it in order to fit that. So hold off on it. Give it to us when they've got the actual gameplay with it. Do I think they should add a coupled mode to EVA? No, I like it being decoupled. I think it should be fully decoupled. There should be some better indicators to show you that, though. Yeah, the tools will help them create more planets and systems quicker. And these tools are apparent. Maybe I should do a video about this. These tools are apparent. They've got one that builds rivers. They've got one that builds outposts. They've got one that builds caves. Obviously, the terrain itself. So they've been putting this stuff together. Clouds, all of these different things that they've slowly added over the years are supposed to snap planets out like that. And they're also talking about using things like machine learning and other methods to do planet creation. You can actually find that on this talk in here.
Our planets are unique, however they are built from type of tile sets, like pre-built things that get mixed and matched together and blended in complicated ways so that you don't see the repetition. But it's not truly unique, not in the same way that the Grand Canyon might be, or the River Nile, or Mount Everest, and that's what we want. So to get that, we need to replicate the complicated natural processes on Earth, like geology, climate, erosion, and these things aren't trivial. So we've got three options. We've got offline tools, Houdini, Terragen, things like this. We could simulate all these processes in the engine, but we've started some R&D a few months ago on whether we can use machine learning to do some of this. So just to give you a quick idea of how that would work, or how it could work, if you just start with some random input here, it's just like some noise. We run it through a temporary simulation, so we can type of get a more reasonable approximation of simulation at different altitudes and latitudes on Earth. And then what we do is we categorize all this into different biomes. So based on the temperature and moisture, you'd find out what is a desert, what is a forest. And this part is crucial. So this is the input for our machine learning algorithm. We could come up with this image any other way. You could hand paint it as an artist, or we could just randomize the noise to get a different set of images. And then what we do is we take the large data sets we already have from Earth, from Mars, and from the Moon, and we train it on exactly the same distribution, so biomes, so forests, grasslands, and things like this. And by training it on exactly the type of data we get in reality, we can take this and then push just that, and then we can get these lovely height maps out of it that tell us a really realistic distribution. You can see here, this is the height map, so the black areas are low. You can see all the little rivers and valleys, and this had zero art input aside from this image, which is a very nice result. It's early days. This is based on something called a custom diffusion neural network. It's, like I said, it's pre-trained on Earth data, and it's been built up in patches so that it just doesn't become too expensive to build. And the little circular patches get like added together, and to avoid any seams in the image. And just to help you visualize it, I've just put some colorization on it to show you where like snow and beaches might be, and just wrapped it around a planet to give you a better sense so it doesn't look quite so abstract. Yeah, but this is very early days, this stuff, but we're hopeful this will be helping the future of how we build planets quickly
Early
and efficiently.
days. I think this is probably their Planet Tech V5 stuff they're working on. So we'll hear more about this likely towards the end of the year. The Poets, dude. Good morning, afternoon, and evening to you, buddy. Thank you for the the Twitch sub, man. 11 months on. Dude, almost a year you've been supporting this channel. Appreciate you, buddy. How you been? How was your weekend? Griffin also came in with the sub. Thank you, dude. I saw you message me. I'll be back to you shortly, my friend, I promise. Thank you for dropping by. Appreciate you. Should we consider SC to be a crowdfunded project? I think, yeah, I think so. That makes sense. 7 Days to Die has world building as good as this now. Hey, man, good for them. Is 7 Days to Die using this engine? Raven, thank you for the sub. Continuing your Prime gift. He's awesome. Thank you. Griffin, how are you doing, dude? How do you have an economy in space when space has near infinite of all materials? Because you got to pay someone to get those materials. That ever horrible requirement of economy, the humans. Ugh. Hate them. Toes. Hopefully it runs smoothly. Squadron 42 would be good intro into the whole SC as a whole. Yeah, Squadron 42 would be great at that. Yo, Raven 1. The homie. Seven Days has deformable terrain. Oh, we're not getting deformable terrain. I think whatever they're talking about when it comes to deformable terrain, they're talking about on the dev end. We're not going to be changing planet shape from everything I've heard. Just chilling with the community, Griff. Good to hear, dude. If you guys don't know, Griffin Gaming hosts Soul Citizens here on Twitch. They do shows every week as well. Great community of people. Good folk. If you haven't seen their channel, can we get a shout out for them in the chat? Good. Just like a few Soul Citizens have now been here on the stream in one way or another, whether a podcast or a show or a talk, and we always have a good time. Thank you for keeping such a great community over there, dude. How long do I think SC beta period is going to last? I don't think we'll have a traditional beta. I think I think it's gonna be kind of like we're gonna be in the alpha and then they're gonna hit 1.0 and then the game is gonna be like I don't know, a lot of other games 1.0. Like it'll be there, but it's gonna still need work. Not like a AAA release nowadays. But I'm thinking the 1.0 will probably feel like what we used to think of as beta back when companies would... Oh man, what happened to all the game releasing? It's it's wonky now. When will we see Squadron 42 released? Hoping next year. I'm hoping next year. And I think that's a lot easier of a target for them to hit than Star Citizen. Watching the medical gameplay video made you decide to try medical gameplay. The one I had with AAK, that video was crazy. That was so much fun. Yeah, from alpha to like early access, basically. Have the devs talked about populating planets with more cities, roads, or towns? Towns, yes. So we've got... Towns are one of the things that they're looking at with 4.0, actually. Because outposts are now... Well, basically because I think they're depending on things like server meshing to allow them to build more stuff into the planets themselves. They've been limiting their locations for quite some time. I think it was... Sorry, I'm having trouble remembering where to go.
They don't come with...
No. I think it was dang it, 2022, when they said that they were really wanting to add a whole bunch of caves onto the planets, but they just couldn't because the game couldn't handle it. And so they've been building out their sets to really do these larger outposts, if not town locations. Can't say they're going to be close enough to drive on via roads or anything like that, but their goal is to make it so that you are on a planet and you don't have to leave that planet to play the game. You can just keep taking missions around that planet, in that planet's orbit, maybe at that planet's moons, but you don't need to be quantum traveling to other planets to do stuff. And that's what we're really starting to see an expansion on here lately, and particularly at last CitizenCon. Listen to this.
Keeping everything harmonious. So we like to think we've done a pretty good job with that. But that's me. Using this expanded library, we've been able to increase the individual location size because there's less of that obvious repetition between buildings within any single location. And we can't really call some of these large locations outposts anymore. They become something more like settlements and imply a larger and more established community. Now, as a player, it will mean a lot more to explore and do at any single individual location with a localized and personal feeling mission types that might see you moving around a single settlement to complete objectives or doing short hop missions between clusters of settlements on a single planet. So you might head up to a ridge to repair some wind turbines. You could counter an outlaw attack from a neighboring outpost, or on the opposite side, you might be stealing or destroying vehicles for the criminal gang that you're working for. But in the art department, we always say, show, don't tell. So let's stop looking at slides and let's have a look at some of the locations in game.
So yeah, this will kind of give you a sense of where they're headed with, particularly, like he said, these settlements. And then I'll show you what they have planned for underground facilities, because that's quite a bit too. But again, this is when people talk about planets, you know, planets are empty, what's the content on the planets? That's what these folks are doing. They're working on the points of interest, the small locations you go to, the reasons the planets even exist. They haven't mentioned Squadron on console yet, but it would be a good idea, I think. Towns. Another Frenchie. Thank you for the sub. Also 11 months. Gee whiz. That's a good year. We've had a good year together. Sure hope Pyro is insanely polished when it drops. Me too. But, you know. That is Pyro. That was all Pyro that we just saw. Still expect Squadron 42 to be much more on rails than many think. There are debates about what Squadron's going to look like. From what I've heard, it sounds like it is going to be a narrative, pretty singular path campaign with a lot of choice involved. And that's generally going off of the original, Wing Commander? Is how that Wing Commander worked, and they're basically just trying to make a spiritual successor to Wing Commander with Squadron 42, so I believe it. You didn't like the cutter? Not much of a Drake fan? You'll find that there are a lot of manufacturers in this game that make spaceships, and you will very much start to lean in the direction of certain manufacturers based on what you like to see. How will the game handle several players in a single location like a hangar and contracts if we get a single shard per region? Well, I mean, if you got several players in a hangar, that should be okay. You know, we do that now on just a single server, but the idea is that they can spin up multiple servers for the whole shard. So like maybe you do get 1,000 people at a space station, which would be insane. And I don't even know if they could handle that. But theoretically, you'd want to have a server just for that space station, if servers could handle 1,000 people. Heard that in Squadron, there is some sort of freedom in parts of the game, but mostly on rails. Won't know till we see it. Yeah. You highly value aesthetics. If you don't like the looks of something, it's nearly impossible for you to like it, no matter how good it is. You're not alone. That's why this is my ship of choice. Might not be the most functional in its size and range, but boy oh boy is it pretty. And it's not even this ship, it's the sibling of this ship that I like.
Whenever someone is in need of hope, you can feel it in the atmosphere. The spirit of Crusader. Keeping the universe safe and secure. Forge the future you want to see.
Okay, but show us the ship.
Spirit from Crusader Industries.
Man, they love advertising this game with combat. I know A1 is a combat ship, but I wish the trailers in this game have gotten so much more exciting than they used to be. I guess the original trailers, some of them were pretty exciting, but I wish we would get to see a lot more of the, like, make them look more like car commercials before. They used to look a lot more like car commercials consistently, and it was very fun. You've been flying the C1 a lot more? Rediscovered rock mining? Yeah, the C1's great. And I said it's not the most functional. That's mainly because the Zeus is going to come out and do a lot more in the size. But looks-wise... Also, can't you not really launch multiple bombs from the A1? Doesn't it take forever to launch another one? Downfall of 200 players on the server was the number of hangars. It was first come, first serve. Everyone was spamming the ASOPs. The things to know. The things to know before you launch a server meshed environment. To get Squadron out in good shape, most important from a business perspective, it will then raise the possible chances for SC development, since it will wash a lot of money into the pool of CIG. I believe CIG is banking on Squadron making a lot of money. They're like, if Squadron does not do well, if Squadron fails, this company will be in a lot of trouble, in my opinion. They've hired a lot of people. They've purchased and built some impressive studios. They have spread themselves out, all, it seems like, in the expectation that they're about to get a big cash inflow. So they're banking on Squadron being good. I think if you want to double down on it, then launch it on console at some point, maybe a year later or something. Do we get a release date for Squadron this year? I'm hoping so. I do not know, though. Your close friend did the release the Kraken voice over the Kraken video. Oh, that's cool. Can he do specific stream alerts for you? Has there been any news on building interiors since that ISC? No. The only other update we've gotten on building interiors was during a sprint report last year. That would be this one. I believe it was this one.
Also in white boxes, the pre-production blockouts for a variety of building interior modules that will fit inside the towering skyscrapers of New Babbage on Microtech, being developed and tested in situ simultaneously to work out and discover anything developers might not have considered or recognized as necessary in the original mandate. The idea here is that once the player lands, they would enter this particular interior from the very top, encountering a lobby and expected elevators. Then, after a brief trip down, emerge into a number of different interior modules such as block of player apartments seen in the example here. And speaking of modular interiors, the Montreal Tools team continues their work.
So yeah, that's really all we've got right now in terms of building interiors, and this was more than a year ago. So they were working on it, but I do think those took the back seat for the underground facilities, which now launched in 3.23. However, underground facilities in 3.23 are not the underground facilities we want. Those are going to include massive underground structures,
now corridors are not
huge corridors and tunnels underground,
statistics,
industrial throughways, large just places, that just a whole bunch of stuff, and then these like other more abandoned almost underground areas that are meant to house mining and refining gameplay. Like there are a lot of big details that still need to be built into underground facilities that aren't. So I don't know if the team that was working on these are moving to building interiors for now, and we'll come back to this, if they're going to expand on what they've built already and add these facilities into the locations that we now have. What's going to happen here? So we don't know what building interiors are going to be doing. Does anybody really care about Squadron 42 at this point? What? Bro, what? What's the point of everything that makes SC exciting in a single player game? I mean, people like single player games. That's like saying, what's the point of GTA 5 because we got GTA Online? There's still so much that a game can offer because it's single player. And if you go to the comments, I mean, you don't even have to ask that question. Just go to the comments of people seeing the Squadron 42 trailer. Where is that? Where is that daggone video? I held the darn line. Like, just look at the comments of what people are saying here. Having a hard time believing this actually exists. Those bagpipes hit harder than my dad's belt. That's really Jesus, man. Good Lord. Like, if you go through the comments of this video, or if you look at when Mark Hamill posts a tweet about the game, you'll see so many people come out of the woodworks and be like, wait a second, what's this? This looks sick. Is this a new movie? Mark, is this with Netflix? What is this? And you realize, you know, only a few million people have ever seen this game, and probably even less have bought it. Anything with Mark Hamill in it, people are going to care about. That on its own is something, but a narrative single-player space game is almost non-existent in the gaming industry. People will care about this. It's just a matter of if it's good or not. You think building interiors are heavily tied to the development of personal hangars, instancing and whatnot? Yeah. You haven't bought a copy of Squadron 42, but you 100% intend to? There's a lot of people who have found out about this project in the last year, and the game hasn't been possible to buy for the last year. Yeah, a lot of people will not play the MMO, but will play the single player game. If I was getting introduced to Star Citizen now, and I wasn't obsessed with space games, I would have just stuck to the campaign, because I don't come from MMOs. The ability to paint vehicles with a system like Power Wash Simulator. Hey man, ability to paint vehicles in any way is a good idea. Don't sell yourself short. To Antenna, welcome to Twitch. Thanks for hopping on over. And thanks for checking out the YouTube channel too. SC will have to move to a subscription for the PU. Well, you should let Chris know that. He's been trying to say no. If they released Squadron and it was playable for a reasonable price, it would probably be good to play it and let SC get on with its development. I bet that's what they would want at CIG. Like, please stop annoying us about the PU, play Squadron. No. Poets, you never play single player games? Man, I love them. I love just being to sit down in a single player game and chill on the couch for a while. Oh, X4 is a good one. And it just got a big update too. Squadron 42 can die for all you care. You actually resent it now. Whales won't stop buying ships even if Squadron 42 fails. Oh man. If Squadron 42 died, we'd all be f***ed. You don't want to deal with multiplayer, so single player is a whole vibe. How many copies of GTA have sold? Oh my god. Like 140 million or something? Oh yeah, Henry Cavill's also in Squadron. I always forget that. If the bugs are in Squadron, you're not going to play it. You'll let it sit for a few months before you buy it. Knowing CIG, they probably still release it half-assed. Tell you what, if they release Squadron 42 half-assed, I'll sell my whole account. Because this is like the project's going down the drain. That's my thought. Maybe people disagree with me, but I think if Squadron 42 comes out and it's bad, this whole project is in a lot of trouble. They'll show a trailer at SitCon and spread it everywhere on the webs. Believe they will announce a release quarter, not specific date at CitizenCon. Man, when Squadron 42 actually starts to get mass appeal, or not even mass appeal, just mass attention. Oh god. I'm on Twitter enough these days to just see how terrible it is to talk about games at all. Oh god, I'm not looking forward to that period of time. Yeah, Henry Cavill's in the game. He's only shown up once, but I believe it was confirmed he's in it. Hold on, let me... He is right here. No, he's in the other one. There he is. So, Henry is flying an F8 for whatever reason. Who knows what he's doing. But there's Superman. And then I believe in the new video, actually, supposedly, this is his voice here.
Getting a faint contact on bearing 287.
He's in this Hornet, I believe.
Yeah, got it. Scanning now.
Just saying what I've heard, though. It's all hearsay. No, I'm not giving you the bagpipes. I know you want them. You misclicked when buying your first pack, so you did not get Squadron 42. There it is. Almighty Fox. Gonna keep him in business. Oh, they're not gonna add crafting and base building in the Squadron. I don't... No. No. Don't fall out for us. I would be pissed if they added base building into Squadron. Don't put base building in my military campaign narrative cinematic game. Don't mess with us. That'd be awful. Appreciate the content. You learned so much. Literally, as someone who started about 5 days in, you've learned so much with the content. And A1, happy to help. 2 Antenna. Thank you. Thanks for watching. I'm glad it's helped you. Aerospace 2 is another fun space game, even if not really a sim. Aerospace is cool. There are some pretty good space games out there right now. Squadron will probably be less buggy than the PU. Yeah. For starters, it's not online. If SC goes paid sub only, you're out. A lot of people will be out. That would be crazy. I think they'll continue to offer the paid subs that they have, but I don't think it's going to be required. Oh no, Almighty Fox, I wouldn't have recognized him either if somebody hadn't pointed it out. Why not base building in Squadron? Because that'd be awful. Put you on the spot, Almighty. I'm going to let CIG know, too. I'm going to message them on the super secret exclusive Space Tomato hotline that Almighty Fox has got their financial backing. Been going down the list, been watching the podcast. Any favorites? Kind of like the idea of you having a place to have to leave and a place to come back to at the end of the game of during leave. Well, if they do that, just tie it in, you know? Don't let us build it. For the very reason he said, like, don't add base building into Squadron. Don't complicate things like that. Give us what we came here for. We'll build bases in the PU and other places and stuff. John Cruz said the resource management will be in 4.0. Do you think larger ships will move to the Maelstrom, pre-Maelstrom hybrid buffed super HP and relay knockout replacement gameplay? Yes. I think ships will, yeah. I don't know. The idea of knocking out relays, yes. I don't think that you will be required to knock out relays to destroy the ships, though. Yeah, the red phone. LTI on all ships and components with paid subs. They will figure out a way to incentivize a sub. Yes, TWO. That's more likely than a required sub. Yeah. Base building and Squadron would be acceptable if there was a portion of the campaign that you were in a crash and had to survive for a while. Oh, we get survival game now. What's my favorite ship or company commercial overall? I really like the Hull C commercial. I can't play that one because I always get demonetized when I do. What else? What else? What else? What else? Hull C's pretty good. The OG Freelancer is always a classic, you know, it's not the best commercial, but it is very on point with the tone. In fact, I bet there's a lot of people who haven't seen this one yet. This is a great commercial. It's like that classic truck commercial. Check it out.
A comm comes over the spectrum with a job. All it says is an amount of cargo, a delicate timetable, and a risky route. You know you've got 42 cubic meters to pack full of profit. We're talking pressurized and shock-resistant construction, so whatever you put in here comes out the same way. You got two Arc Duo 400 engines. Their award-winning colloid ion technology gives you maximum fuel efficiency while keeping your sig low. You come across a couple of pirates.
Hey, Lancer, you know the drill.
But with a weapons system featuring trusted names like Bering and Kronik, you aren't too worried.
Commercial vessel, Freelancer class. Rig tags look good. Cleared for landing at Area 18.
Oh, we missed those engines.
You're the one they come to when they need a job done right. Because you trust one ship. Misk Freelancer. Built for life.
Built for life. You won't get that tractor in the back of your Freelancer. Deliver it to the Space Cow manufacturing farm. manufacturing farm. You're manufacturing space cows now. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. The freelancer, yeah, they had an idea for VTOL thrusters on it, but the whole idea of it doesn't really work out that well. So they were like, nah. They scrapped that pretty early. I think that I would prefer if they tried to do, obviously they're going to keep doing ship sales of some sort, right? Concept ships as they come out. You can buy it before it comes out. As long as you get that ship at the same time as everybody else, I think that's reasonable. Mainly because I don't think that they're going to not do that. My ideal would be like make all your money from cosmetics, but I don't think that's enough either. I think that the subscriptions will help them too. Cosmetics, Squadron 42 sales, and that might be why they try going to Squadron 42 Part 2 as well, because maybe they'll want another influx of cash from that. But yeah, man, the equation for keeping this game running is not an easy one, and I don't know where it's gonna go. People will pay monthly for rent. Doesn't mean they want to. What do you mean? I love paying rent. It's my favorite part of the month. Didn't SC have auto turrets at one point, and they scratched that too? Auto turrets. Actually, I don't know that one. It's a good question. You think if they give the freelancer back the VTOLs, it'll be the Odyssey's VTOLs? Don't even know what the Odyssey's VTOLs look like. How does GTA Online make money? Shock cards. Currency. And CIG will be selling currency too. They'll sell AUEC or regular UEC. If they are successful with the games, they could license out the engine for some extra cash. Yeah, I don't know though. Rather than licensing out the engine and... Oh god, no, that sounds terrible. I'm really not one for consolidating, but I would prefer to see them hire a studio. Bring in another studio to have building games on their engine rather than licensing out the engine and having to worry about third-party studios and supporting them. They already got Turbulent, right? Like, maybe another one of these studios can spin off to create a different game at some point. Oh, point defense system. They're still in the game. You just had a fun time looking through all the ships on the homepage, and now you have a top 3 list. Perseus, Redeemer, and Vanguard Warden. Vanguard, huh? Top 3 on your looks list. Interesting. The real money for the PU will come from developing features and vehicles for casual gameplay. People will come in droves for an updated Second Life. Maybe the cosmetics then, huh? You've been away from SC for a couple of years. Consensus on the new UI. I really am enjoying the new UI. I think obviously there is work to be done on it to make it better and to make it actually, you know, have all of the quality of life we need, but it's much better than our previous UI. I like the direction it's going, and I think the star map still has some issues. The interaction stuff still needs some work, but I think it makes the game a whole bunch better to play. Can I elaborate on why CIG shouldn't license their engine for something like Red Dead World? I would be mainly worried about them getting stretched too thin amongst studios that they don't have control over. And I know that sounds... my mic's very low. Oh, look at that. It is low. That should be better. Sorry about that. I think that... I sound very Microsoft right now. But I do think that they would be better off making sure all of the development for this engine and the requirements of it stay under one roof. I imagine that Epic would be in a much different place now if they weren't focused so much on having their engine be used, and had stuck to the games they were making. Unreal Tournament, Gears of War, whatever else they may have made. Granted, you know, I think what they have done is the better path for them as a company, and they're free to do that. It's not like it's the wrong decision, but I'm just saying in terms of the quality of games and how those games release and how they're made, I imagine it's better for the games themselves when the company is the one focusing on that, as opposed to other companies that are using the engine. But God, the f do I know? I've never even been involved in that sort of process. You could see cosmetics being a sales funnel. Not sure you understand where a class action comes into play, or what that has to do with the sub. More SP would be a funnel too, but they need a steady stream of income. Release Arena Commander on Steam for free. Just do it. There's your funnel. Not now, perhaps, but eventually, after the engine is in a more complete state. Maybe they do it. Maybe they do. I think licensing out the engine would be great for them. It'd bring in a lot of money. It'd probably lead to the engine getting more development time and more focus, but that could also really hurt the games that CIG themselves are developing. Squadron 42 will be divided into 3 chapters. Each chapter will be the equivalent of a large AAA game campaign. Those 3 chapters are themselves subdivided into more chapters. Yeah, so we're just getting Squadron 42 Chapter 1. Double-edged sword, that one. Which is that? Licensing out the engine? Yeah, the licensing would definitely be... It'd be good and bad, probably. Arena Commander is like a better looking Quake 2. Not sure how many would be thrilled with it. If you want to know how many people would be thrilled with Arena Commander, just look at how many people want Battlefield 2042 back. There's not a single game on the market that could match Star Citizen in mixed arms combat right now. Especially because Battlefield has been taking a back seat. If you could get drop ships, you know, hover bikes, tanks, vehicles, anti-vehicle weaponry, all that kind of stuff into a large 5x5 kilometer map with 80 versus 80 players, that's Battlefield combined with Battlefront, and it's a dream game I think that a lot of people have wanted for a long time. And technically, CIG is creating the environment that could allow them to do that. That'd be so cool, man. That'd be so freaking sick. Like, we set up all these events in the PU and Star Citizen because we enjoy playing against each other, but then you die and it takes you 30 minutes to get back out there, you know? What if you could just do that in a closed area? Needs to be free. It would be such a win. It really would. I think they would keep it on their launcher, though. 5x5 kilometers, laughs in Arma. Arma is pretty good for that kind of stuff, but I think Arma is a little bit inaccessible for a lot of people because it's a bit more hardcore. "2042 enjoyer, huh?" Yes. Yes, that was good times. Titan mode was incredible. And I'm really, really disappointed that we just haven't seen anything like that before. It's almost like Battlefield 1942 also, when you go battle on the aircraft carriers with each other. Imagine that in this game. Just have a combat drone in such a way that when you actually die, you actually deserved it, rather than everything exploding all the time. Well, yeah. Be a little while for that. Some Epic games and others are on Steam, but you need the game's original launcher so you don't see an issue. Yui, thank you for dropping by the stream. It was good to see you. Have a good time. Star Marine free to play, something like Theaters of War with paid cosmetics. People would eat it up. And then the PU with ships and cosmetics. Yeah. That'd be a great little Trojan horse for this game. Or you launch Squadron 42 with Arena Commander as the built-in multiplayer. Tej, thank you for dropping by and the kind words. Do I think CIG could benefit from a partnership with Microsoft or Sony to complete the verse? No. Nope, nope, nope. As a former shareholder in both those companies, I don't want their hands anywhere near it. Thank you. Except for maybe if they wanted to, you know, have Squadron launch on their consoles or something. I'm so tired of Microsoft. Because we don't have internet at our house right now, my laptop has basically become not what I normally use. Usually I'm writing up scripts on Google Drive, but since I can't connect to that, I've been writing stuff on my actual laptop, which comes with Windows, which it's just so funny that Microsoft will not, that they actually paywall their word processor. So I have to go and use Notepad to type out my scripts. I don't want that company running this. God. Just the freaking worst. They'd also try and put their Copilot AI and everything. Like, CIG's got their problems. Microsoft can just be annoying. And their Xbox Studios department has been making some suspect decisions lately. Want to see industrial gameplay and crafting be a big part of CitizenCon this year? That'd be cool if we saw crafting. The new flight sim stuff looks so good. Tell you what, how about CIG just poaches the people who made that then? Forget about Microsoft. Come work with us. You want to craft more than just a multi-tool. What is there to craft in this game right now, though? Man, we need materials. We need building stuff. Do I know anything about Squadron on day one? Console day one? I know nothing about that. It would be a great decision. I mean, it would take away from the PC launch, time and effort, but it would be a great decision business-wise for them. I did not finish Xenothreat now. $100+ gigabytes is a lot for a free-to-play game. Whatever they want to do. Oh, I think whatever money they spent on launching Squadron on consoles would be absolutely made up for in pledge funds. Or would make up for any lost pledge funds in that effort. That would be a ridiculously profitable decision. Well, I don't know how much money it'll actually take, but I believe that would be a profitable decision. Star Marine free to play wouldn't require the full game install. Yeah, it'd be its own thing. $10 to 30 gigabytes. That'd be a nice size for a game, honestly, if it fit in that. Compared to a bunch of other multiplayer games. Games are getting big. Personally, always thought Microsoft would be a great partnership, but of course, that is just your opinion. I mean, they certainly got the money to help, but Microsoft's, man, I can't even imagine. I think if anything, Microsoft would be like, yeah, we'll pay for this game if you make sure it's on Game Pass. Which I'm a fan of Game Pass. Everything we can equip would be a start. Yeah, weapons, armor, backpacks, undersuits, firearms. Absolutely. How much more funding could CIG need to get this massive yet amazing game stable and complete? You like Stanton a lot so far, but you want to see more, hoping it doesn't take 10 more years. It's going to take a lot more than 10 years for them to finish whatever they're doing, but I think it'll be stable well before that. Are your thoughts on cargo dedicated to weapons and ammunition runs for both handheld and ships? For handheld, having weapon cases and I lost the second half of your comment. Cargo dedicated to weapons and ammunition runs for both handheld and ships, like shipping weapons as cargo? Yeah, Microsoft is all about the money. The best sim racing runs on a subscription model to have the best case game. You think we need a sub model? That's your opinion. You're a bit afraid that hangars and cargo loading will be postponed after 4.0, since it needs to work with server meshing perfectly due to its game-breaking mentality. I think the more important tech that needed to work for this, for these features was persistent entity streaming. To be honest, that seemed like a bigger blocker than server meshing for a lot of their stuff. Perseus and Arastra, I think, are going to be a while out. Not in the next year. There are tons to craft in this game. Yeah, I think it'd be cool to transport weapons as cargo missions. Future Squadron 42 being a 1 to 8 player LAN game? Like local network multiplayer? Seems like a lot more to balance, to be honest. Honestly, I like Game Pass, but I do think it needs to be more sustainable. Do I think Pyro will actually get out this year? I do. Yeah. If nothing else, it'll be in testing. But I'm thinking we'll see 4.0 this year. Then again, there's not really much to go off of making that prediction. You wonder how long Squadron 42 Chapter 1 will be? I think they said 40 to 50 hours. Oh, 20 hours you heard. Okay. I thought it was a lot longer. I don't need it to be very long. How about this summer? I don't think we'll see Pyro this summer. Maybe in testing. What SC needs is a competitor to keep them focused on delivering content that players actually want. I mean, I don't think that a competitor would have made them deliver anything else other than what they've done. They're basically stuck. Nobody competing would get them to make server meshing faster, I don't think. They had yeah, I mean, the problem with having a competitor would basically mean somebody else would need to be doing something of this scale. And the only companies that can do something of this scale would be AAA companies. And AAA companies wouldn't say anything about their game in the works until it was ready. So they couldn't actually pressure CIG. Do you want to be a space reporter? Everyone else wants to shoot lasers at rocks. We are not the same. I'm tired of shooting lasers. I don't mind shooting bullets, though. That's kind of fun. Not too bad at that. Camera, why are you so far over there? Do I think there are any big tech requirements to get the Polaris out this winter? Server meshing. I think they want to have server meshing in before the capital ships really start taking off. Less content, more focus on getting a feature complete. Wait, what? Wouldn't less content mean they can't get to feature complete? Or you mean less content like missions? Mezcon, what's up? What are we discussing right now? Just general stuff. I'm just answering questions. If anybody has a question. Exclamation point question. Or wait, no. Question in brackets. Yeah, in the chat. Remember when people said Starfield will kill SC? Pepperidge Farm members. I've got a graph that shows Mass Effect also killing Star Citizen. Mass Effect Andromeda, not the new one coming out. It's funny though that graph was talking about Andromeda, and now the next Mass Effect game is is coming up in preparation. And Star Citizen still isn't out. Given the modular nature of the now open source Lumberyard, which is now called Open 3D Engine, if a competitor did release something better than server meshing, it would be far easier. Well, yeah, they'd have to build server meshing. The only company I have heard of that is building something similar to server meshing on a large scale, and you have a couple of games that already do server meshing, but the only company that I know is building a game actively right now to use server meshing is Rockstar with GTA 6. So, you know, there are a few games that use things like server meshing. There are a few systems that run on stuff like it. But I do think that puts into perspective the amount of effort it might take to go into building your own solution for it. Because Rockstar's not a small company. If a player pledges a ship and 1.0 comes out, will it be possible for them to lose that ship eventually? No. Escape from Tarkov is big and complicated, but now we see Tarkov clones coming up one after the other with new engines and AI. Don't you think we will see similar games to SC? Well, we do see similar games to SC coming out, but they don't really do the same things. I think that Tarkov had something going for it, but Star Citizen has built up a ton of original IP and design behind it that it's going to be hard to compete with it. You would need to be able to make 100+ unique ships designed inside and out that function on the same system. That's a tall order. Like, you can't procedurally make that. You can't get that through code. You need artists, you need sound effects, you need VFX, you need a whole bunch of people to put those things together. And that's really Star Citizen's strength. Everything else being built around that just helps. But at the end of the day, the amount of time and effort they've put into the collection of ships they have is going to help them a lot, I think, to hold off competitors. Do I think they quickly address the Carrack not having cargo use when the cargo patch drops? Honestly, no. I don't think cargo being out will make them work any faster on that, which sucks because it's pretty cool ship. Current thoughts on master modes? I am excited to see where master modes goes. I think it's pretty good for the game overall to be a little bit more approachable. I do worry about, you know, does it allow the skill ceiling to still go pretty high? And I also really don't like the artificial limitations it puts on the game. I'm pretty neutral on it, to be honest, but I will tell you this. The people who don't like master modes are starting to make me like it. Not like it more. They are starting to make me resent people who don't like master modes. And I know there are a lot of people who have legitimate reasons to not like it. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't not like it or that you have to like it. But the way that people are acting about it when they don't like it is really starting to rub off. I just like, I understand people don't like it. I understand that they think it ruins the game. I get that. You just don't have to freaking say it every single time anybody ever talks about Star Citizen. And it's getting so annoying. Like, getting in other people's ear about how bad it is not going to help it get changed. It's going to make people less likely to want to see it changed. I appreciate the people who are going on to Spectrum and putting out well thought out criticisms and giving the proper communication to CIG to get master modes into a better place and help it make the game what we want it to be. I'm sick and tired of people leaving comments about master modes on every piece of Star Citizen media and talking about how it's not a sim and I even made a video about it. It's a supporter video for now, but like, I've put that to rest. We did our master mode stuff. Next time it gets updated, we'll talk about it more. But yeah, I'm pretty neutral on it. With the recent server meshing test, much less than the first 800, do you think that Q4 or Q3 full implementation is likely now? I still think it's possible in both those quarters, but I don't know. There's not enough to know when it might be coming. If the makers of X4 Foundations wanted, they could make a competitor to SC. It's big talk. I mean, I don't know what their game is made from, but that could require them to start from, not scratch, but they'd basically have to make it compatible as an MMO. X4 isn't an MMO yet. What engine does it use? What even engine is it built on? Anybody know? It's their own engine? What's the name for it, though? EgoSoft makes it. What game engine does EgoSoft use? Nope. Can't find it. Master modes is just the new form in which spaceships are flying in the game. Do you think they could hold off implementation of the face sweating mechanic until they perfect the rest of the game? I'm highly doubting the face sweating mechanic is going to be coming from people who are doing other stuff in the game. That's probably the actor status team, the actor feature team that's doing the character sweating, which is probably under the same sort of system that's making characters bleed, which ultimately is something that they need for Squadron 42. So I don't think it would make a difference. take from Ivocati through the current patches that Master Modes isn't the problem. The whole PU experience is terrible, and it makes Master Mode seem worse than it is. The new HUD desync, it feels unplayable, and Master Modes gets the blame. I see. Have they talked about implementing a possible solo mode like the one in Elite Dangerous, where you share the same persistent universe but don't see other players? Yes, they really don't want to do that, actually. That is something they've been pretty adamant on not doing, but they do have Arena Commander, which allows for closed servers, so you get gameplay, just not in the same universe. Need you to come to your house and answer your 4-year-old's barrage of questions. Hey, okay, that's different. Okay, I know how 4-year-olds can be with their questions. There are former X4 devs working for CIG now? Huh. Hadn't heard that. Isn't networking and multiplayer one of the hardest things in video game development? From what I've heard, yeah, it's pretty hard. More economic sim. It's like a bunch of spreadsheets in the background. Let's see. Ecosoft planned a multiplayer game called Online Universe or X Online. The project was intended to be the next step in the evolution of Ecosoft's X Universe. They've since released a number of games, given little indication of the progress of this project. So they did start their own multiplayer game 24 years ago. In 2003, they were working on a later version, which the CEO said was their long-term goal. Still no official information on the online universe, though there has been speculation that X2 and X3's 2007 uplink feature may be a positive spin-off of the project. So they did kind of try and do a multiplayer version, but they have not done it. And still, I can't find the name of their game engine. It is a secret, a trade secret. Well, I think they might have trouble bringing it to multiplayer, but X4 is a pretty cool game. Do I think the Ironclad is usable with just 3 people crew? It'll probably be a little bit difficult, but yeah, I think it's usable. Exploration and scanning ships are yet to have gameplay loops. What would you like to see for them? I've made a couple videos about this. Generally, though, I think exploration ships should be finding resources, points of interest, making regular scans of open space and ground surveys. They should also be probably given missions to update the maps that players will use to navigate the verse. Think we'll see AI blades this year? No, I don't. Agree with the criticism that it feels like you are aiming rather than flying. That's an interesting one. Once the cargo and elevators patch is complete, do we really need any more tech added to Stanton? Isn't it time to get story and NPCs active to progress the verse? Yeah, I think we still need a lot of like economy stuff going on. The quantum travel mechanics need to be dialed in so they can start to limit travel through asteroid belts and introduce the air and halo belt gates. And building interiors, I think, really need to be used in the system too. Did I try the last server meshing EPTU? I didn't get to try it. No. Haven't gotten to try server meshing since the last time, but looking for. I gotta double check and see what people are saying about how it went. I haven't even heard yet. I am using SteelSeries headphones, yeah. Constantly dying on me. Don't let the drama get to you. We need the calm tomato. I'm good. I'm good. I will say this morning, Mrs. Tomato can concur. This morning, I did start to get pretty annoyed with comments. I don't know. It's an interesting thing. I never really was prepared for the transition from, you know, a few comments, like a couple dozen comments from our community to eventually it was like hundreds of comments. It just kind of naturally happened. And when videos start to kind of spread out a little bit more, there's a lot bigger group of people commenting. And I love to answer comments, but YouTube shows you the most recent comments rather than the top ones. So there could be the most trolly comments or the most positive ones that come to your kind of little studio thing. So you don't really get a choice. And oh my God, sometimes it's draining. Mihai, thank you for the sub, mate. Appreciate you. 13 months, lucky number 13. Hope you're having a good day. You were told it didn't go well? I hear the first one didn't go well. I hope the next one does. Hashtag join GII. There it is. Raging Tomat. I was not raging. I was just talking strongly. It kind of makes me wonder what, like, the really big YouTubers... The big YouTubers that just get so much trolling sent to them. Because, you know, you don't think these people will see... You don't think they see all that stuff. You don't think they care because there's so much being thrown at them. They don't see all those comments, right? But man, you do. And I just wonder what it's like for them. Second one went good with the server meshing test. That's good. It was just short. I hope that they're just testing something out they needed to get some last settings on before making a new build for it. Having a good day, but now you got the toes stream, Mihai. Good to hear, my friend. Don't let people at work hear you say that, though. Carinos, thank you for the sub as well. 4 months with the Prime. You guys are awesome. Means a lot. It's heartwarming that you would use your Prime on us. Thank you. You know that ski strap when you see it? This thing freaking popping up, looking like a tail on my head. Don't lie, Raging Tomat. Okay, I was raging. She's right, I was raging. Strongly raging. Just don't beat up my chair. It's a good thing. You know how good this has treated me? This isn't even my chair. This is Mrs. Tomato's chair. I've just been using it because we don't have mine set up. Because it's at our actual house. I'm not going to hit her chair. How rude. You just completed the tutorial for Star Citizen? Hats off to you, my friend. That's an accomplishment on its own. You completed the tutorial. Honestly, sometimes it doesn't even work. I'm happy for you. They were testing different hardware layouts. Okay, I see. Did it improve the performance? What's up, Mihai? Salty Tomat Hybrid. It's getting about time for another Salty Tomat podcast episode. You did piracy in SC a while back. Now you stealing your wife's chair. Void, dude. I learned all my piracy from you, brother. Don't come at me. Good to see you in chat, though, dude. Yeah, I stole her chair. What you gonna do about it, Mrs. Tomato? What you gonna do about it? She's like totally in the house with my chair, so she could just go sit in that if she wanted. Which, like, please do keep it warm for me. Thank you. I'll be back soon. Promise. Ah, we're gonna have dinner soon. She's making pasta. Bro. You don't even understand when Mrs. Tomato makes pasta. Like, I might, now that I've remembered that, I might end the stream right now. It's so good. I'm hungry. You did the tutorial when it first came out. Haven't done it since. Neither have I. I haven't checked in on it since then. With that dude that sounded like the guy from that movie Twister and Alien. What? Oh. Game over, man. That guy. Hudson. What you're looking forward to with SC is when all the gameplay loops start to tie together properly. Same here. Right now, there's barely any reason to do anything in SC besides fill your pockets with money. Yeah, that's what I was talking about at the beginning. Somebody asked, why do people call it a tech demo? That's why. It doesn't feel like things are connected enough for you to be pursuing a goal. Like, I want to get into Star Citizen and be like, what's the adventure today? What's going to happen today? Oh, I know. I'm going to leave the station. I'm going to probably blow up randomly. I'm going to respawn and not have any of my stuff and go out with a basic kit because all of my stuff is back at the other space station. I'm going to get to the bunker. I'm going to run out of ammo. I'm going to get another gun from them, pick it up, kill them, finish that mission, and then go off and do it again. Maybe somewhere in there I might crash. Maybe I might run into another player once or twice, but like there's just not that much adventure in the game yet. First negative statement of the day for what you've heard someone said, you don't say things that are negative. Wait, you're saying for what? Wait, what? You heard somebody say, I don't say negative things? Did I just make my first negative statement? So happy you found the channel. You speak so clearly about all things. How long do you think until we transition to beta? Years. 2 to 3 years. Could be interesting if you and I did a one-off podcast. I'm always looking for people to fill the topics, man. As long as it's about SC development. To be fair, if not a ton of tutorials, now you're kind of just standing here figuring it out. The tutorial is not the most in-depth. Why can you get shot at in armistice area, but you can't defend yourself? Who's shooting at you in the armistice area? Were they outside armistice? Were you getting shot by the space station, maybe? So I think crafting is a make or break for 1.0. Feels like it's crucial to justify cargo and have a dynamic economy. Yes, I think crafting, there is no way crafting is not in the game by 1.0. Did I have any good Xenothreat experiences? I was a turret gunner in a random hammerhead with a bunch of other random people, and I had a blast. It wasn't even like the in-depth Xenothreat experience. It was just us chilling here, gunning the crap out of people in a hammerhead, blowing ships up to some cool music, and it was good fun. But not Void, we need to get in game together because I'm trying to get another good of the pirate experience, you know? Is Mrs. Tomato your manager boss? Definitely the manager. Definitely Mrs. Tomato is the Space Tomato Gaming manager. If you've had to email us for business, if you want a giveaway, if you are doing anything related to member relations and GII, if you are trying to, if you are a company who wants to do a partnership with us, or a person from outside the community who wants to come on the podcast, there is a very, very good chance you have spoken with Mrs. Tomato. She also keeps me, doing what I'm supposed to do. They're calling me a shill. Oh, well, that's what people like to say. They're saying I didn't say anything negative in this stream. But that's the thing. If that is what they're saying, people might say I don't say anything negative, but like, you guys have all been sitting here in this stream, and I've said negative things. The people who don't say those things don't actually pay attention. This game works perfectly. Anybody who says this game works perfectly is probably not playing the game. That was about me saying my first for the day because it was mentioned you don't say those kinds of statements earlier today. You telling me you didn't hear any of the negative things I said about their funding models or... They will shoot you and you can't shoot them. Who is that? NPC pirates. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they've got... The armistice zones are not great. They're like temporarily supposed to solve a problem that they aren't temporarily solving. They're just kind of sticking around. And, they just block you from using even your tractor beam. It's incredibly annoying. And unfortunately, you just got to get out of the armistice zone if they're following you in there. What all do we know about drones so far? Nothing really. Other than that they'll be used for like refuel, repair, and scanning. When do you hope to get pirated by Void? So it's an honor. As long as he names your spaceship. Are the servers doing better? They were super laggy when you tried to play this weekend. I don't know. I haven't played since last week. You hold their feet to the fire where it is needed. I watch you because your opinions are balanced. I will be the first to tell you that I'm biased because I love this game. Somebody actually commented on one of my videos to say that I'm probably not a fan of the game. I just cover it to make money. And I'm like, dude, do you know how much money you can make from covering actually popular games? No, I'm definitely biased when it comes to this game. I freaking love it. Like, I literally started covering it because I like it so much. So yeah, I'm positively biased. I want to see it succeed. That doesn't mean I don't have problems with it, though. They also like to say aliens took Elvis and controlled the global choco market. Like chocolate? Aliens give us chocolate? Hey, Karinos, thank you for the sub, by the way. Sorry, I missed that earlier. How is living in Turkey? It is good times. I love it here. We have a ton of fun, and the food is amazing. The weather is fantastic. Living by a sea is something I never got to experience before. I just need to get better at the language. I really do. People who are calling you a shill should have seen or heard you during 318. 318 was fun. It's because I'm not mad enough and don't match their emotions. Call out the good and the bad and are level-headed on both. I miss some of the bad. I'm not going to lie. I don't like talking about the ship sales or the money or like the CCUs and all that stuff. It's just not what I'm interested in. I like the feature development and stuff. So I think that omitting criticisms of the stuff I'm not interested in appears to people like I'm, giving it a pass or something. Not saying something about something for a lot of people means you support it. Imagine playing SC for hours and hours and not encountering a single bug or problem. That's crazy. Every once in a while when the game runs really smoothly, I'm like, wait, what's going on? This is amazing. I love this. I wish this was the game. It'd be so great if it just ran stably. You would never pirate me unless I had 69 SCU of Maze? Would you add one more? Would you throw me off my game? Even your bad words are bleeped out. You gotta protect, man. You got some grade school kids throwing up these streams in their classroom. Teachers like, yeah, who cares about math? Let's watch Star Citizen discussion. You gotta watch out for them. You gotta those bad words. No one was a shill during 318. Oh God, I was definitely of the mindset that like, yes, 318 is bad, but it will get better. But yeah, that sucked. What ships have I pledged for? We went over this before. I only have like 4 or 5 pledged ships, I think. The 135C. The Terrapin. Although I think I might have melted that. 135C, the Terrapin. I'd honestly, I got a 325, but I don't know what I melted that for. But I think I also have I think a Spirit is a pledge. It was an upgraded pledge from something. A couple other ships, I think. That is what people say. The point being, people say stupid things in YouTube comments. No, YouTube comments are gospel, man. Let's hear some Turkish. Teşekkürler geliyorum. Thank you for coming. For coming? I think that's actually just thank you coming. Gezmek için işiyorum. It's like I'm pretty sure I just said I work to look. I melted the terrapin. Dude, what was I supposed to do with it, man? I stuck around with that battle turtle for years. At some point, you gotta cut your losses. I don't know. I might not have melted it. I don't know where it is. We'll have to see. We'll have a hanger look through here at some point. The passion for this game is pretty healthy, even from the negative folks, because most of them really do want the game to succeed. See, I appreciate that when your conversation's coming from passion. .318 was bad, but 323 was just as bad first for you in the beginning. Ooh. You mean Invictus was going on for 323? Yeah, 315 and 316 was very good because 316 played on 315's code base, and 315 was the first update where we got inventories. Oh, okay, cool. So I said, thank you, I'm coming, instead. Oh. I sometimes make mistakes. Like, sometimes I'll be at, like, a bakery ordering something in Turkish. I know my Turkish is better than that, but now I'm on the spot, and there's lights in my face, and there's a camera on, and I'm on a microphone. You guys should, like, I mess up when I get to a bakery or something. And they'll be like, what would you like to eat? And I'm like, I don't know. I'll have 14 bakeries. Like, I just mess things up. No, my Turkish is definitely better than that, though. My brain just goes back to Örümcek Kitapokur. I usually baklavas. There you go. Baklavalar. Elmalar çok güzel. You got really good apples, right? You can say that. Yeah, all the things I have learned are now skipping my head. I've got a lot to make up there. You have to learn how to say thank you for coming to my tomato talk. Actually, I'm pretty sure I can say that. Tomato talk da teşekkürler geliyor musun? Or no, geliyorsun. I think that was right. Oh god. I need to learn that in different languages. Why? No, I did not repeat that for Mrs. Tomato. No jokes like that, please. If you have the magical power to control CIG, what are the first 5 systems will you choose for 1.0 release? Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, Magnus. Oh god. You cut me off. I'm going to make it 6 because I'm cheating. Stanton, Pyro, Nyx, Ellis, Magnus, and Terra. That's what I'd want to see. First 4 hours of SC time was getting a crime stat. Yeah, okay, there's that too. There is also that. You can you can basically spawn into the game and then get a crime stat and everything is ruined. They actually do have Turkish devs at Star Citizen. You know, once you learn Turkish names, you start to realize how many Turkish people are involved in video games. I believe here. Is this him? Yeah. Khan Shakur. Jakur. Yeah, this guy's Turkish. So they, you know, we up in here. Anything on whether radar will get future rework to be more like real life. A wide cone horizontal scan in front of the ship, differentiating under signature when scanned from rear sides and front. You'll be able to direct scanning. Actually, you can already focus your scanning cone, and you'll be able to direct it too in the future. Totally spawned with the crime stat. I understand. I understand. Never do we do anything wrong in this game. Never. Off to work, dude. Thanks for the stream. Thank you, Dark-Sided Gamer. I'm also actually off to dinner, folks. It's been a good time. Glad we got to chat. Vent a little bit. Probably a little bit too much, but you know how it is. It's Monday. We talk. Thank you all for coming to this little Q&A, and honestly, it's just kind of a back and forth. I like to just chill and chat with you all. It's good fun. We'll do this. We do this basically every month, I would say. We do these casual Monday chatting streams, but honestly, if you guys are new to this, if this is your first time in a stream, Mondays are always chats, whether it's a monthly report, whether we're going over Star Citizen Live and doing a little bit of reaction, whether we are doing a deep dive into the history of Star Citizen. We actually have one of those coming out next week. So if you missed these streams, you can also find them summarized on the second YouTube channel, Space Tomato 2. So, yeah. Thanks for coming. Hope you got some good info. Hope you got some good entertainment. And hope you don't hate me for all my opinions that I just threw about everywhere. Because it was... This was quite the stream. Let's see. Salute. Hey, don't thank me for the stream. Thank you for being at the stream. Thank you for the stream. Let's see. Oh, one of my friends who I did not know streamed is on, but they're streaming in French. So that doesn't really work out for us, huh? Ibir. Have a good one. See, I know that. I'm much better at reading and hearing it than speaking and writing it at this point, but thank you. Appreciate you. Teşekkürler Ronald. İyi akşamlar. İyi günler. Çok güzel. Mutlu mu? Or no. Mutlusun. İyisin. And that doesn't even make sense. All right, y'all. I'm getting out of here. I don't have a raid. Let's see. I'm gonna throw you to. Oh, he's playing the finals. I'm gonna toss y'all over to Burks. Looks like he's doing a subathon. Appreciate y'all. Have a good time. Go check out some gameplay, and I'll see you all later. Have a good day. Love ya.
you